In 1791, our founding fathers got together in order to determine what has become known as the Bill of Rights. In these justices, those entering the New World as colonizers were provided with their God given rights as it was believed to be something they were born with. Among these rights, Americans were provided with liberty and justice throughout their newly formed land. One of, and if not the most influential topics and amendments that has been ratified was known as the Second Amendment. For those unaware, the Second Amendment provides Americans with the right to bear arms, which, in other words, is known as having ownership of an armed weapon. This has a wide range of weaponry from firearms such as pistols and assault rifles. Throughout various battles and wars, the usage of these weapons have proven effective in protecting our nation and allowing our citizens to live in peace and harmony. However, as history has proven, the topic of the Second Amendment has provoked to raise awareness throughout the world due to the usage of armed weapons. The very peace that was fought for has now been disturbed due to the utilization of weapons, which draws the following question: why has the extent of gun control not been strengthened? Let me put this into another perspective. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, in 2017, the most recent year for which complete data is available, nearly 39,000 people, which is about twice the seating capacity of Madison Square Garden, died from gun-related injuries in the United States. Of these deaths, roughly 60% were suicide. To put it blank, this amounts to about twice the seating capacity of Madison Square, as mentioned already. What's more is that this same year, we saw an increase in activity of shootings, which include, but are not limited to, the Walmart in El Paso shooting and Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida. The very idea of shooting occurring while one is out shopping with their families and then suddenly seeing their lives threatened is a frightening scene and something hard just to imagine. To add on the idea of sending a child to school and then receiving the horrifying news of a school shooting is devastating. Why should a child's life be put in danger and even fatally taken when our school should be the safest place for them to be? Is that not what we and our government has promised us? Now, let's look at this from another perspective. The idea of our children growing up with entertainment that includes such savage usage of weapons will only result in them growing up with a violent intent towards topics. But the already harsh reality that puberty is, adding the usage of armed guns with the emotional aspect of maturing adolescence, will only result in an act of violence through armed weaponry. A notable event that relates to this topic would have to be the shooting of 1999 in Columbine High School. According to Aaron Warnick, since the 1999 Columbine High School massacre, in which one of the killers had a history of playing a shooting video game, discussions on the connection between video games and violence have become way more frequent. Now, thankfully, some schools have created programs that allow students to reach out when going through their maturing stages of their lives. However, this has yet to decrease the number of shootings we have witnessed throughout America's history. Such mass shooting at schools emphasize how far back the nation is in terms of protecting our children, with the government being unable to provide further protection for our future. To give you a first-hand taste of a more recent occurrence, let's look at a school shooting that happened in Noblesville Middle School. Lindsay Wormuth attended this school, and I strongly doubt she had in mind the idea of a shooting occurring at a place of safety for children. She goes on to write, "In May of 2018, I was at Noblesville High School the day that a shooting took place. I remember being told to barricade the door, windows, and take cover in a corner. Although the shooting was not at my high school, not knowing what was going on and whether there also would be an active shooter at a high school is frightening. The middle school shooter was a 13-year-old boy who injured teachers and students. Now, can you begin to imagine that? Let me ask you, as a member of society, why and what is a 13-year-old doing going to school with such a weapon at a place where children are guaranteed their safety? And ultimately, the idea of ownership of a weapon draws back to the adults. Why is it that, according to the Washington Post, there were 90 school shootings nationwide in the 2 years of 2020 to 2022, with more than 356,000 students, which is about half the population of Vermont, having experienced gun violence at school since the Columbine massacre? And even after all this, little to no progress has been made, in my opinion, to make our children safe. And I can vouch for a good amount of people out there who would agree with me that their child's safety is their top priority. All I keep on seeing is this announcement of these acts and names of those who were injured or killed. And yet these actions are still not enough to alter or revoke the idea of the Second Amendment. I want to conclude this by giving you all the respect and thank you towards our founding fathers for being able to fight for our independence of this country, as without the bravery America took when it first became a nation was truly something so patriotic and remarkable. During such a period where we took action to fight for something we truly believe is an amazing sight to behold, and is a strong reason I can proudly say I am an American. Similar to the history we as a nation that we have been founded on, I want to act in protecting our nation and future of our children, who will help progress the United States as a whole. We cannot let acts of gun violence interfere with the lives of those who are attending school, a place of hope, education, and safety, along with friendship. Now, will you join me in bringing awareness to the protection of our school, our land, or will you allow for the youth to face more casualties and drive them away from school? The choice ultimately is yours, as you are not alone, and should you join you should join the cause. For a united nation is only truly united to bring hope and light to the harm together. Thank you.